You and I, we make this circle whole. So come join in. We've been waiting for you. Let's begin and rise in body or in spirit and hold nothing back, especially of that you love we have, because it's so contagious and so infectious, just like that COVID, except our love is so healing and so big and so loving that it will keep us connected through the holiday time coming up this week. So here's a song all about that love being contagious in the world and how it comes back to us. I learned this when I was a little girl and it's still with me. Here we go. Share a little bit of your love, my friend. Share a little bit of your love. Share a little bit of your love, my friend, and it'll come back to where it began. Try it. Share a little bit of your love, my friend. Share a little bit of your love. Share a little bit of your love, my friend, and it'll come back to where it began. Good. Now I'm going to teach you how to play your body with the song. Here we go. Raise your right hand. Wave to me. Hi. Good. And you're going to find a spot to tap to your right. And that could be the edge of a chair or the edge of a cushion or the table, wherever you are, whether you're standing or you're seated. I'm going to use the chalice, but use someplace not fragile, okay? Here we go. This is going to be friend. It could be the shoulder of your sibling. Friend, tap your body. I'm going to use my thigh. Body, heart, world. Okay, out. Friend, body, heart, out. Friend, body, heart, out. Good. Then, back to yourself. The world is in your hands. You send it back to your friend and twice to yourself again. So all together, it goes like this. I'll go slow. Friend, body, heart, out. Hand, friend, hand, hand. Again, friend, body, heart, out. Hand, friend, hand, hand. One more time we'll practice. Friend, body, heart, out. Hand, friend, hand, hand. Great. Here we go. I'm going to sing. I'll sing slow first, and then we'll do it in real time. Share a little bit of your love, my friend. Share a little bit of your love. Share a little bit of your love, my friend, and it will come back to where it began. Good. Share a little bit of your love, my friend. Share a little bit of your love. Share a little bit of your love, my friend, and it will come back to where it began. Good. Great. Now, the secret to this is you can actually do it by yourself. You could do it with one other person next to you or across from you, or you could do it in a circle. Here we go. Share a little bit of your love, my friend. Share a little bit of your love. Share a little bit of your love, my friend, and it'll come back to where it began. And watch it grow. Watch it grow. Watch it grow to where it touches every land. Help it grow. Help it grow. Help it grow by only reaching out to someone your hand. Share a little bit of your love. A little faster. Share a little bit of your love. Share a little bit of your love, my friend, and it'll come back to where it began. Share a little bit of your love, my friend. Share a little bit of your love. Share a little bit of your love, my friend, and it'll come back to where it began. Thank you, Ed.
You're welcome.
And now we will light our chalices at home. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the glories and the mysteries of this great gift. Let us now be like this cedar, putting our feet on the ground and stretching our limbs out wide as you feel comfortable and feeling the sway in the wind. Breathing in and breathing out. We know, like the cedar, that we are one of a kind. Breathing in and breathing out. We also know that however we are, with our roots and our bark and our limbs and our needles, that we are beautiful however we are each day. Breathing in and breathing out. My roots reach deeply. I am connected to the core of me. I'm wondering if you know this name, Jigonsasay. She's a woman who was an indigenous person living not far from the church, and she was a person who, in the year 900 or so, was a super influential, powerful person for peace. And the reason why she's so important is because the great peacemaker came with Hiawatha with this vision of the nations of the Haudenosaunee people. But it was Jigonsasay that helped that reality happen. There was the tribal leader of the Onondagas, who was a mean and fierce person, Tadadaho, and she was the one who used her power of peacemaking to bring that nation in to the collective that has been known for over 1,000 years as the Haudenosaunee relationship or great law of peace. Jigonsasay also, most importantly perhaps, was the person who established the role of women as the people who get to decide who the chiefs are, who the leaders are, and that culture. So to be able to be a woman and have the power to choose leadership as a sacred right to protect life. Jigonsasay, we honor her today because often women are forgotten for this kind of love that goes on and on and on through the years as a powerful force for peace in the world. Our story today is from the Buddhist tradition, and it's about how a little bit of effort of love can change a whole community.
Hard times starve people's spirits as well as their bodies. So it was once when the Buddha lived and famine struck the land. The rains failed and the heat of the sun withered the harvests in the field. Riverbeds turned to dirt tracks carved into hard, dry soil. All around, in villages and towns, the cries of pain and hunger could be heard. In the midst of this misery, some people grew greedy and selfish. The Buddha's followers came to him bringing stories of sadness and shame. One merchant in town stabbed another. said one, and all for a bag of grain. I heard of a woman who sold her last goat to buy some flour. On her way home, she was attacked by robbers, and the flour was stolen, said another. Saddest of all, Lord Buddha, said a third, are the stories of children dying of hunger on the poor side of town because the wealthy have hoarded all the grain and milk and sugar. Call all the people together, said the Buddha. Let us see what we can do to help those who cannot help themselves. So the Buddha's followers called a big meeting. Hundreds of people came, rich and the poor, well-fed and starving, dressed in silks and rags. Out of respect for the Buddha and his teachings, they came to hear his words. The Buddha said, "Citizens of this fair land, surely there is enough food in the storehouses of the wealthy to feed everyone. If the rich share what they have in the lean season, then you will all survive to enjoy the benefits of the next good harvest." The poor and hungry looked hopeful at Buddha's words, but the rich people grumbled and began offering excuses. "My granary is empty," lied one. "This is a big town, and the poor are lazy. Let them come work for me, and I will pay them as they deserve," said another. "Then they can use that money to buy the food I have stored." "There are too many poor people," said a third. "Let them go somewhere else." The Buddha looked around. He sighed when his eyes fell upon the hard faces of people with hearts of stone. "Is there no one here," he asked finally, "who will take on the job of helping feed the poor and homeless in these hard times?" There was a silence. Then a small voice peeped up. "I will, Lord Buddha." Out of the crowd stepped a girl, no more than 6 or 7 years old. She was a merchant's child dressed in fine silk. She wore tiny gold earrings. Flowers were braided in her hair. "My name is Sapraya," said the child. "I have a bowl to fill with food for the hungry. When can I begin?" The Buddha smiled. "Small child," he said, "your heart is filled with love, but how will you do this alone? Your bowl is empty." Sapraya replied, "Not alone, Lord Buddha, but with your help. I will take this bowl from house to house and ask for food for the poor and homeless. It will not be refused. I know it." Looking at the child with her earnest face and shining eyes, even the most selfish among those present grew ashamed. "I have a little grain in my storehouse," mumbled one. "I have some pickled mangoes from summer's harvest," said another. "After all, without the poor to work in the fields, there would be no harvest." "My father was poor once. I'm ashamed to have forgotten," muttered a third. Then Sapraya took her bowl, and every day she went from house to house in the rich part of town. Wherever she went, little by little, the bowl got filled. Sometimes an old grandmother would fill it with rice from a kitchen. Sometimes the children of a house would give up their sweets for the day. Often others would join Sapraya with their bowls and help her take food to the people who needed it. And sometimes it is said that when the day was long and Sapraya was tired of walking, she would sit and rest in the shade of a banyan tree. And when she awoke, she would find the bowl had magically filled itself. "Now," said Sapraya, "the hungry will eat, and the people of this town will take care of each other." And so they did.
Thank you, Victoria, for that story. I'm wondering what you think that story has to teach or remind us about, especially about not holding back or about this idea of infectious love. You could write it in the chat. Well, Well, one thing for me is to not hold back and be bold, even if it's in a very small way, because that very small way may have an impact that can help your entire community, even if you're a young person, right? Yeah, the second thing would be this idea of equity, and that whatever power Supriya has, she uses it to try to promote equity in her community, right? She redistributes kind of the food so that it's a redistribution of needs being met, right? So that to me is also a powerful message that we do want to have equity in the world, and that it takes one person's boldness to step up and say, hey, we can do this, right? And have confidence in that. Yeah. I'm also really encouraged by this story, and that those who originally may be resistant can have a change of heart, that a new world is possible, or a different way of doing things, just by each person making that decision to rethink what they were doing before. Yeah. So great. So for our family connection piece this week, I would offer you a practice that you can do with any meal that you have, and that is to take the food that you have and to really understand all the different ways that the web of life has contributed to that food coming to you for your body. And it's a practice that would involve focusing not only on the food, but all the different pieces of that food's history. So this week I asked Ian to do this exercise with me, and he said he really loved this bowl of cookie dough ice cream that he had. Raise your hand if you love cookie dough ice cream, some of you out there. So we made this map of all the different ways in which Ian could be grateful for that bowl of food. Everything from the bowl itself, from his mom going to the store to have the means to do it, to the people who produced all of it, to the beans, to the soil, to the sunlight, to all the different things, beings, people, processes that went into a simple bowl of ice cream. As part of this, I also want to remind you about the 2 winners for our Greater Good Project, especially the Mujeres Divinas program, which calls us to be mindful that oftentimes there are people in that chain of web that comes to bring food to us that are often left out. And so I'm reminded that there are farm worker women who are part of that web of care and that web of life that are making it possible for us to have certain food. So that's all for today. So much love from church. I hope that you stay safe and well over the holiday weekend, and that you are staying connected with that infectious love, but keeping your bodies whole and well. Bye now. Zoe's going to lead us off with that love guiding us.